All right. Well, I do want to respect everyone's time. Thank you very much for joining today. You might have looked at this, and if you're new to the program, saying, Zoom networking, don't we Zoom enough? But Zoom is a fantastic tool for getting out and meeting people that you may not get a chance to meet because of geographic concerns or just timing. Getting out in the evenings can be hard. So that getting out and talking to people through Zoom is a fantastic tool. I did a presentation to a group in England, and I would never have been able to do. I went to a meeting in Saudi Arabia. It was a really interesting experience, all because of this tool. So what we're doing here is giving us a chance to do a couple things. One, learn how to better network through Zoom, but two, get a chance to see some people we haven't seen in a while, or meet some new people who we all have something in common with. We're all alum. And this is a really good program. So we're going to have a few announcements. We're going to have a presentation by Paul Mayer, and I'll introduce him shortly. Then we're going to go into some breakout sessions. We're going to have a chance to network a little bit. There'll be some prompting questions. There's no reason to feel like you're going to be singled out. Everybody will get a chance, and it'll be guided, so it'll be easy. And then we're going to come back and have some, answer some questions and give some feedback so that everybody could share what each group felt in the breakout sessions. So that's what we're planning on today. And to move the program along, I'd like to introduce Todd Gibbs, the head of our alumni group at the school.
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate the introduction. So welcome, everyone. It's nice to see so many alums, and particularly to see some familiar faces, and then also some new friends that are joining us for tonight's program. I'd be remiss to not acknowledge the incredible alumni engagement team that I get a chance to work with at Sacred Heart. It has been a challenging last 12 months, and they've done a remarkable job of kind of pivoting our very traditional programming and finding ways through these virtual platforms to, connect alumni both in the United States and across the world with kind of engaging programs. So, if I get a wave from Julia, Natalie, and Alexa, thank you for all your incredible efforts over the last 12 months. In these moments, particularly with our inability to kind of travel to places and convene, a lot of alums ask, what's going on at Sacred Heart? There's a few kind of themes that kind of emerge. First and foremost is how is the university handling kind of COVID and residential campus. And so I would say, by way of update, we're in solid shape right now. And I say that by like knock on wood, the desk that's in front of me. We had the fall semester was an incredible learning experience, not only for Sacred Heart, but also, many of our peer institutions within the state. And so we're able to use kind of an extended winter break, December and January to kind of learn and apply some best lessons as we came back. We started the spring semester with kind of a modified quarantine on campus. So we had our students all test as they arrived on campus, and then were quarantined in dorms for the first week. And then we began, we have a hybrid learning model. So it's a combination of in-classroom instruction plus virtual. But the first week was virtual, and it really has allowed us to, establish a low baseline of infections. Currently, I think as of yesterday, there was 24 active infections on campus. That's a combination of faculty, staff, residential students on campus, as well as all of our students living in off-campus housing. And so it's a strong number. We know that, if we let our guard down any given point in time, that number could grow exponentially overnight. So we don't feel we're out of the woods yet, but we're certainly trending in the right direction. Many of you might have seen news, especially if you're local, that Sacred Heart's West Campus has become a vaccination site. So we're partnered with Hartford Healthcare. So if anyone is in the vaccine queue, we're still looking to schedule in local and want to go through the Hartford Healthcare portal. West Campus is an option for folks. And it's just another way that Sacred Heart feels as if we're doing a good community service in this difficult time. from an admissions standpoint, it has been a challenging cycle, both for public and private schools. Many have experienced challenging enrollment numbers, whereas there's others that have seen, explosions in the number of applications because of particularly the state system. At Sacred Heart, we're trending in a pretty good spot. Despite the challenges of last spring, we still brought in our largest freshman class ever. It was about 1,500 undergraduate students. And as it stands right now, we're 5 weeks away from our May 1 deadline for deposits. We're trending exactly where we were this time last year. So our admissions, our application numbers were strong. There's no kind of benchmark in a COVID pandemic to gauge how the next 5 weeks ago, but we feel somewhat confident. Confident enough that we actually made decisions in recent weeks that we will have on-ground commencement exercises, both for the class of 2021, and we're going to go back, and honor our commitment for an on-ground commencement for both the undergrad and grad classes of 2020. So those events are, naturally will need to be distanced and are modified. So they're not going to take place at a large venue like we had at Webster Bank Arena. We will leverage, Campus Field, which is our football stadium. And so we'll have 4 different dates that we will break commencement into: the 15th, 19th, 20th, and 22nd of May. So the class of 2020 will have one ceremony on the 15th. And then we are going to break the other dates. Our graduates will graduate with their respective colleges. So we're excited. We're excited to have an on-ground commencement. It will be ideal when we get to May of 2022 and everyone is together again. But we're excited to put our best foot forward for this year and last year's graduates. And the last piece of campus news that I'll note, we have continued to fulfill during this time period our kind of master plan for campus. And one of the projects that's really about 15 years in building is the addition of a new hockey arena and multi-use facility for campus. So last week we broke ground on West Campus for our future hockey arena. It'll be a state-of-the-art Olympic level space that will not only support men's and women's ice hockey, our club ice hockey programs, our club figure skating program, but also when there's not ice out, when there's not ice, it will be a multi-purpose venue for university events. So we're really excited. Sacred Heart is in a strong position, and we're incredibly grateful to all the alum that continue to keep us, kind of in your thoughts and your interest in engaging with us. That being said, we know that, it's important as we build relationships with alums that we continue to offer back. So I'm excited to have a couple of my colleagues with me tonight to share a little bit about the ways that Sacred Heart can support alumni. And so I'd like to introduce Keith Hassell. Keith is our Executive Director of Career and Professional Development. And so we worked in partnership with his office to organize tonight's event. And his team has done an incredible job of providing dedicated services to alumni. So I'd love to turn it over to Keith for a moment to talk to you a little bit about his office and how he could support, anyone on this Zoom tonight or anyone else in your alumni circles that might need our support.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Todd, and thank you again, Chad. Again, my name is Keith Hassell, and I'm the Executive Director of Career and Professional Development here at Sacred Heart. And I'm excited to have the opportunity, one, to introduce myself, but also just go over some of the services that we have available in our office that are specifically geared towards you, our alumni. Now, we're traditionally known as the office that will help students with making the transition to campus to career, helping them with career exploration, internships, finding jobs after they graduate. But what most people don't realize is that your access to our services does not end once you cross that stage and you have commencement. As an alumni of Sacred Heart University, you have lifetime access to our services. So we have dedicated advisors who are equipped with the tools and the resources to help you with making the next step in your profession. So whether you are thinking about transitioning to a new career change, you're looking to advance yourself professionally, or just looking to do something new, again, we encourage you to please reach out to our office. We work very closely with Todd's office, with our alumni department to make those connections to our students, but we also have many opportunities that are available for you, our alumni, with more of a seasoned background. So, like I mentioned before, please, whether it's help with your resume, cover letter, finding opportunities to actually apply to, strategizing what the next step may be, mock interviews, negotiating offers, etc. The one thing that we want to make sure to stress again is that once you're part of the Sacred Heart community, you will always be part of the Sacred Heart community. Now, another point that I do want to point out is that over the past couple months, we developed a brand new online career development portal, which is a fancy way of saying our new website. And on our website, we have a page that is dedicated to our alumni and the resources that we provide. So I encourage you, please visit sacredheart.edu/career. And one of the first tabs that you'll notice is the people that we serve. If you scroll down on that tab, you'll see alumni. And again, you'll be introduced to our counselors who work with your population, featured jobs and internships, resources, etc. But please, never hesitate if you have any questions or you need some support. We are always here for you. Not only locally here in Connecticut, but also we can help you internationally. We work very closely with recruiters, headhunters, etc., who are both, here in the Northeast, across the United States, and again, across the globe. So please, I hope that you consider this just an introduction to myself and my office. But if there's ever anything that we can help you with, or even if it's just a conversation, do not hesitate to reach out. Again, my name is Keith Hassell, and my contact information is also listed on our website. So again, thank you, Todd, for that time. I appreciate it.
Great, thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Keith's team is a great resource, so please take advantage. In our follow-up materials that we will send to everyone part of tonight's group, which will also include any of the contact or professional contact information that this group has shared. We'll include we'll include Keith's information as well for outreach. What's been interesting, particularly in the last month, as our the vaccination rates within the state have grown. I've had a number of alums reach out that during this pandemic or just before the pandemic set in, that had heard about the Verizon iHub space on campus, which is our co-working and shared working space. And I think some people are getting a little bit tired, even though they don't want to go back to their office. They're a little bit tired of like working out of a bedroom, an attic, a makeshift basement space, Studio B. Any of the other types of arrangements we've all kind of figured out to work remotely. So I'm excited to be joined by Dan Pascone. Dan is our immediate past president of the Alumni Board. You probably recognize his name in a lot of the communications that have gone out. But Dan has made some really effective use of late of the iHub space, and he asked for a few minutes, just to talk to everyone on tonight's Zoom about that resource and some of the great opportunities he has created for fellow alums to take advantage of that space. Dan, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Todd, and welcome everybody. Thanks for having me. Again, Dan Pascone, immediate past president. Technically, my position is ex officio president of the Alumni Board. So let me give a quick shout out to our Alumni Board and Council. Our sort of mission and how we exist is to engage with SHU alumni all over the world, and we're doing a lot of great things to build out the services that we can offer to our alumni, and specifically have done a lot of work to build out our chapters. And I see Alice Ferreira on the call. Alice, give a wave. She is our Fairfield chapter president. So quick shout out to Alice and her counterparts. We're getting close and hope to be at 10 chapters across the country very, very soon. So with that, let me talk a little bit about iHub, and Todd did a great job of teeing that up. And I was up until about a month ago, I was one of those people that fit into the. I've been working at home for a year now, and it would be great to get back to some sort of office setup. So just a little bit of background about me. I'm in financial services, and I have an office in Midtown Manhattan, and that I had visited only once since mid-March of last year. And Todd was able to get me connected with the folks here at iHub. And the iHub is a really, really amazing space. It's on our West campus. So it's on the newer campus at SHU. It was built and kind of finalized just before the pandemic. So we really did a big opening of this facility in November of 2019. So if those of you may have seen the space, it's really a remarkable space. And, I got connected with the folks that lead this facility, and Verizon sponsors the facility, and JLL Real Estate Company are the ones that run it day to day within the SHU campus. And we started having some conversations about ways that we could engage alumni in this space because we felt like it would be a really nice perk for alumni, especially right now, given the circumstances. And I'll tell you, I didn't really recognize how much I would appreciate it. And they asked me to come do kind of a test trial, and I liked it so much that I've decided that I'm gonna spend part of my time here moving forward. So what we've been working on is a package for specifically for alums, and there's a couple of different options. So if you have interest at all in a workspace, there's a lot of different options, from anything from what we call a hot desk, which is just kind of like a desk within a community room, to more private desks, to offices of multiple sizes. All packages include access to conference rooms. I can tell you that the place is very, very clean, well kept, and a really, really nice work facility. Great kitchen area, great conference rooms, access to high-speed internet, of course, wired internet if you need it. So it's a really, really nice facility. And what we're doing right now is we're offering alums free trials. So we'll do a week or even 2-week trials if needed to try out the space. And then we're going to offer a discount to any alums that decide to take up space on a regular basis. Additionally, and something that I'm taking advantage of, and actually am partnering with Keith's office, is the ability to work with interns. So if you have a desire to hire interns within your business, which I do, you have the ability to hire them and allow them to work out of this space. Whether you end up taking space in the iHub or not, you have that ability. The intern programs that the university puts on are really, really top notch. I'm just getting started in the process, but I've hired SHU interns before and been very, very happy with the folks that I've been able to work with. So that's a pretty cool option. So what I'll do is I'll just chat. I'll put my information in the chat. If there's any questions, we can certainly chat in the breakout rooms a little bit more. I don't want to take up any more time, Chad, but I'll put my information in the chat. And if you have any questions about this or want to get any more insight or information about the Verizon iHub space on the SHU West campus, certainly don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk about it. And then just in closing, I can confirm, because I'm coming here a few days a week right now, that number one, vaccinations are open and very, very accessible here. And number two, we have absolutely broken ground. They were doing a lot of hard work today on the hockey rink. So there's some good construction and good work going on. And that was exciting for me to see as I drove in early this morning. So back to you, Chad.
Great, thanks, Dan. And that's actually a really good segue. So I'm going to do it myself now. In the chat, if you want to put your contact information, I'm putting my link to my LinkedIn page. Feel free to link in with me. This is, for networking purposes. So it's great to be able to meet with people, and I'd love to connect with you outside of this meeting, just to chat and get to know you a little bit better and see how we can help each other out with either Sacred Heart or with business in general. Now for the biggest part of our day. So it's a real good pleasure to introduce our guest. He's a fellow alumni. He is someone I've known for a couple of years, and he is Paul Mayer. He's a highly respected HR professional, and he's a really strong networker. He's the president of the Sheg Group. If your company ever needs any consulting or guidance on HR, I highly respect his company. I recommend you reach out to him. But on top of that, beyond his expertise, he's really a good person. He goes out of his way and he plays taps at veterans memorials, and he collects socks for homeless people. You know, it's I didn't realize until he educated me. I didn't realize the need for socks amongst the homeless. So I donated some socks to his cause so that he could help people. The topic he's talking about today is something that's near and dear to my heart too. Is storytelling. Whether you're doing a presentation, you're in an interview, you're trying to make a sale, to be able to communicate in a way that allows your audience to relate to you is extremely important. A lot of times we will give off a laundry list of ideas, whereas if we were to put it into a story that's relatable, we'd have much more of an impact. I've talked to Paul about that. He's counseled me on it, and I know that he can help you too. So let's give Paul a warm Sacred Heart welcome. And on his presentation, storytelling for gooder communicating?
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate that introduction. Really do. Just make sure I'm following the timeline. I should hold off starting the question and answer to what, about 20 minutes?
No, let's have people that want to put questions in the chat, and that way we could look at them, and then
Okay.
we can go to the questions that way. That's probably the best way.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Because I just wanted to make sure this is a 7-hour presentation, so everybody sit back and relax. Just take your time. Dinner will be served about 8:30, and the cocktails will be soon after that. So it'll be a good evening, regardless of what I have to say, I'm sure, depending on the beverages. But thanks for the opportunity to speak to alumni. It's great to see you all. I had a chance to see the roster of people who signed up originally, and it's amazing. People signed up from California and Florida and DC and Delaware and Boston area. It's great to see the outreach that the university has had over the years. And the professions in the background are terrific. We've got journalists, we've got teachers, we've got all sorts of educators, we've got business people, we've got people who are semi-retired, people that are early in their career. Based on the demographics that were sent out as well, we have people who graduated from Sacred Heart late 60s and some people who graduated recently as 2019. So it's quite a diverse group, and it's really great to talk with you all tonight. I'd like this to be interactive as we go along, so questions, please get them into the chat area. And if something comes up that's urgent, that you really need to have a question answered right away, just raise your hand and we'll try to break into the group and we'll figure out how to make that happen. But just a couple of quick questions for the group. How many of you think you're good storytellers already? Just a show of hands. Are you good storytellers? Yeah. All right. For those that are good storytellers, how many of you really like telling stories? Yeah. How many, everybody on the board, how many people hate answering questions by raising your hand as to whether you like it or not? That's everybody pretty much. All right. So it's universal. You know, we're comfortable with certain things and other things we're not that comfortable with. And sometimes when people say storytelling, isn't that just what you do for kids before they go to bed at night and try to quiet them down and make things better for them so they can sleep well? Yeah, that certainly is one of the storytelling features. But storytelling is a communication tool that really allows the person that you're talking with to get a lot of information about you, about the topic, about what you're trying to convey to them pretty quickly, in an informative way, in somewhat of an entertaining way, but in a way that has to follow a few basic guidelines. And what I like to do is kind of go over those guidelines with you so you can be a better storyteller, a more effective participant in a conversation. You can help the other part of the conversation, that's the listener, be a better listener because the way you present your information. And the outcome hopefully will be a greater return on your investment of time, and hopefully you get the value out of this conversation that you were hoping for. This webinar or this presentation tonight hopefully will be more relaxing than the ones we've all been on today. I'm sure we've all been on one or two or maybe more, 5 or 6 webinars. So there will be no charts, no graphs, no cartoons, no pictures of my dog, no comments about where I went on vacation last, none of that stuff, because we're all getting buried in this whole world of webinars and things online, and it's enough already. This is just going to be a conversation amongst people with a common background, that being Sacred Heart University, people who are looking to be the best people we can be in this world today, and people who are always looking to be lifetime learners, learning something new on an ongoing basis. So we've got a lot of ground to cover in a fairly short time. So let me just let you know that based on this presentation tonight, there's only 10 words that you need to either jot down, type into your computer, make marks on a page, do something with it that might be helpful for you tomorrow. 6 of them begin with the letter C, so that's easy. 4 of them begin with the letter E, so that's pretty easy. And there'll actually be an 11th one, which starts with the letter H. So we got C's, E's, and 1 H to kind of remember from the night going on. And I think they're all things that could help you in your process of being a better storyteller. Now, keep in mind that you as a storyteller, you're not an entertainer. You're not there to just put on a show. You're there to inform. And your story needs to be certainly, number one, that is compact. You don't want to drone on. You don't have a lot of time in an interview, on a sales call, on a presentation. You want to get this down to the key points and make sure that you keep it compact and don't overdo. I mean, I know a lot of people in this world today who figure that 6 or 7 paragraphs are sufficient when really only 1 sentence is necessary. So you want to make sure that you keep it compacted to the point, get your points across, and make sure that you haven't lost your listener in your first 2 or 3 paragraphs, because if you do, all is lost. They're not coming back, especially in interviews. Don't overtake the interview. Make sure that you're answering the questions and doing all the things you can to keep the attention of the person who you're presenting to. Or it might be a panel of people that you're discussing with as well, because we're seeing lately an awful lot of panel interviews, certainly on the website, and that's pretty difficult. So you want to make sure your information, your story, is prepared and gets right to the point. Being compact also means being concise. That's the second C. Get to the point. There's a lot of people who have something very good to say, but by the time they say it, you've lost the audience. If you're on a sales call, you want to get to that point. You want to make the sale. You want to get to yes, as the book says, getting to yes, because you want that sale so you can leave, fill out the form, get back, get the order processed, and get paid if you're in sales. If you're in an interview, you want to make sure that you get to the point, that you want the job. You're the person most appropriate for it. If you're an IT person, you want to make sure that the people know what it is the IT is going to do, and not all the other background that you'd love to talk about, because you have a terrific background in IT, but they don't really want to know all about that. They want to know, how are you going to get my system back up and running, and how are you going to do it in a concise, compact way. You have to be clear. The third C is being clear. A lot of rhetoric, a lot of abbreviations, a lot of idle chatter goes on sometimes, and it really doesn't help. It confuses the listener. It makes the conversation last far longer than it has to. It's sometimes not necessary. It's just more words. And people are saying, is this person ever going to shut up? Or are we going to get to the point where he really came here to present himself or the product that he's selling? So make sure you appreciate the clarity that's necessary to make sure your point is in fact getting across. It has to be contemporary. Talk about things that are modern, trending, current to what you're doing now. It's nice to talk about things that happened 20 years ago when you're in a casual conversation. But if I'm in an interview, I don't want to hear what happened 20 years ago. I want to know what you're going to bring to the party now based on your contemporary, modern, recent experience, so that you can help me do what I want to do with my company. And it's the same for every profit and non-for-profit company, and that's called making a profit. So if you can tell me what you can do of a modern venue that's going to help me do the very best I can to support my company, I want to talk to you. I want to hear more about your story. But if you're droning on about things that happened in college and after that, and on the weekend and with your family and at the Little League game, you're wasting my time. Get to the point. Tell me what it is. What are you bringing that's going to help me run my company in a way? What are you telling me about this new product that you're trying to sell me that's going to help my company become more profitably, more effective, more efficient, more productive, and most of all, more sustainable in today's crazy economy? So get to the point and make sure it's important. Be sure that you're credible in all that you say. You don't want people hearing your story and saying to themselves, really? Are you kidding me? I can't believe that. What a bunch of baloney. Come on, get to the point. You got to be credible. Talk about things that you can defend, things that you have really done, not things that you'd like to do or thought you did or heard about, things that you've done that you can then give specifics on. Because if you're not credible and somebody asks you a question that challenges your credibility, you're going to come up short. And a good interviewer, a good person who's buying in purchasing or anywhere in the company is going to understand and see that right away, and you probably won't be invited back. So maintain that credibility, have the credentials to back up all the things that you're talking about. And lastly, of the C's, make sure what you're selling or you're talking about is going to make a contribution to the company. Again, interview time is limited, sales presentation time is limited, presentations to people within the organization is limited. Make sure what you're talking about is going to bring something to the party. Idle conversation, not a lot of room for that today. We got to get things done. Years ago, when we would travel from meeting to meeting to meeting because we'd have to get in our car and go someplace else, there were a limited number of meetings you could go to. Now, as we all know from this world of electronic imaging and webinaring, we can be at twice as many meetings in any given day because we don't have to get in the car. We can just get off the phone, get on the new one, start it up again, maybe break for lunch, maybe take a quick walk around the block. But our day is now fuller than it has been before because we can get to so many more meetings and so many more presentations. And it's almost like being there. No, I agree. There's nothing that'll replace face-to-face conversations, but electronics makes it so easy to do multiple conversations throughout the day that we haven't had a chance to do before. So the 6 C's, pretty clear. You got them. Compact, concise, clear, contemporary, credible, and the last one being contributing. Making sure you're adding to the conversation. Don't be adding information on an ongoing basis. So that's the delivery of the C's. The message that you want to come across with is what I mentioned before is the E's. Do you have the energy? Can you deliver this message in a way that somebody really wants to listen to it, or are they just being polite, giving you some time because you drove all the way over here to see me, and I guess I really need to talk to you, so I'll be nice. But I already have made up my mind that you are lackluster, you don't have any spark, you don't have any energy level. I can't waste my time. I got to talk to people who are going to get this done. So bring a level of energy that's appropriate for the presentation that you're making. Too laid back, to which many people think, well, it's because I'm so comfortable with myself, I can be laid back, is seen as a weakness in many respects. You want to be energized, be enthusiastic. So show some genuine concern about making sure that your conversation is being seen in a lively, upbeat, very positive way. Talk about your experience for sure, because it's from the experience that you're really bringing this knowledge. And it has to be experience that is truly gained by you and earned by you, and not about just because you read about it in the newspaper recently or a magazine article, or you were told about it recently at a gathering. It really has to be bona fide experience that you can back up and show that you really know what you're talking about. So the message has to come across with an energy, but also with a confidence and an experience base that makes the listener say, yeah, I'm talking to somebody that really knows what they're talking about. This is not some phony baloney. In the business that I'm in now with the Shea Group, we encourage people that when they go on interviews, make sure they go on the interview. To which people say, what are you talking about? I said, well, many times people kind of send a representative. Maybe it's them, but it's really not them, because they've been so practiced and so fine-tuned that they're really not themselves. And then when all of a sudden the offer comes and they get the job, they can't deliver on the services that they said they could because they really weren't the person at the interview. So be yourself, be honest, and be true. Show some empathy for the listener as you're going through the process. Make sure that they're with you during the time. Say things like, would you like me to explain a little bit more about that, or is that sufficient? Or can I give you some more detail on that, or should we move ahead? Would you like me to discuss more about this topic, or is that sufficient for what you're asking? Show them that you care about them as part of the conversation, and not that just you're on broadcast mode and you're trying to get as many words in as quickly as you can because you've got to sell something, you've got to present something, you've got to demonstrate something. Show some empathy for the audience and be engaging in the process. To be a caring, understanding, cooperative person that really is easy to talk to. Somebody that you'd like to have a conversation with after the meeting, after the interview, after the presentation. Somebody that has the same type of desires in life and skills and abilities that make them to be a person you want to be around. Somebody that's enjoyable to be with. So become engaged with the individual during the process and not just be continually showing how smart you are, but showing how much you want to share the knowledge that you have with the individual or the individuals on the other side of the table or on the other side of the computer, to let them know that you're bringing something to the party that's very, very valuable to them. The last key item that I think in this process is this one of H, the only H word tonight to talk about, and that's humor. Try to use some humor in the process. When we were talking about this session tonight, we were talking about what should we call this and how to present it. And there's a lot of very avant-garde and very wordy and very intelligent things we can say. But I said, why don't we just say communicating gooder and see what people think. They might have thought it was a misprint, but Chad's suggestion was to make sure it would be seen as a fun way to do this whole process, because that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to be as best a communicator as you can to talk about yourself, about your product, about the systems that you bring, about whatever it is you're discussing, but do it in a lighthearted way, because during this world we're living in today, we sure could use some humor from time to time. And if it's all just about down and dirty business and push the sale and push the sale and push the numbers, it gets pretty tedious. But if you can inject some humor, be lighthearted along the way, do something that brings a smile to somebody's face during the process, I think you'll have a better chance of being a success in the conversation, because people quickly forget what you say, but they will long remember how you make them feel. And if you can make them feel glad that they met you, happy that they had a chance to make your acquaintance, that you were able to converse with them in a way that made them feel positive and valuable as well, you're the person they're going to want to call back. You're the one that they're going to want to talk to again about a new product, about a sale, about a repeat piece of business, about another interview, whatever it might be. Make them feel good about meeting you and about themselves along the way. And you'll probably be called back for the next round of conversations. And hopefully that means sales, it means business. Hopefully that might even mean a job for that matter as well. You know, this whole thing really boils down to attitude more than anything else. And if you can present the attitude during the conversation with your skills and ability to tell a story about you, about what you've done, an episode that you've had in life, the way you've handled a problem, the way you've solved an issue, the way you've helped employees through a difficult time, that attitude carries far more weight, at least from my perspective, than skills, because skills can be learned, but attitude is deeply, deeply ingrained in all of us. And if you bring the right attitude, keep in mind, people want to do business with people they like. People want to hire people that fit into the culture. People want to be around people similar to them, like to them, communicative like they are, and certainly an asset to the organization that they're currently in as well. So storytelling, is it important? I think it's very important. Is it easy to do? For some people it is. For some people it's very difficult. So the process there really is to practice storytelling. And you can't do it silently. You can't tell a story just in your mind. You have to say the words. You have to actually do it with someone. Doing it in a mirror is fine, but it's not like having to eyeball somebody else, have some eye contact, use some gestures, and talk to somebody during the process so you know if in fact you're getting your story across. And practice with somebody who's going to be honest with you. There's a lot of people who practice with people who would say, oh, you're great. Everything's terrific. I wouldn't change a thing. Nah, perfect. Keep going. You're doing the right thing. When they could be terrible, but the other person doesn't want to hurt their feelings or doesn't want to say anything to, embarrass them. So pick somebody who's going to give you the straight feedback as to whether you're a good storyteller or not. Because if you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And if you are, they're going to tell you that, and you'll feel good about that as well. So practice makes a lot of sense. People practice their golf swing, I think, more than some of their business skills. But their business skills are probably as important, perhaps, than their golf skill, unless you're a professional golfer, I suppose. But the fact of the matter is, you need to do the things beforehand. You can't be a good storyteller at 2:00 when your interview starts at 2:00. You got to be doing something before that. You can't just all of a sudden walk in and expect yourself to perform. No, you got to do some backstage stuff. All performances are a success because of rehearsals. All interviews are a success because of mock interviews, practicing it, doing it, and doing it, and doing it again. We were talking with somebody recently who said, I was so prepared for my video conference and my video interview. I had everything locked down. And then during the interview, the phone rang and the kids ran into the room. Well, did you really practice? You did, but you didn't take everything into consideration. The same things happen with storytelling. It's a skill, it's an ability. The results are terrific. The opportunities that lie with it are terrific as well. And I think you'll be pleased with yourself if, in fact, you take a little more time when you have a chance to do a little practicing of the skills, because it happens in social settings, it happens in business settings, it happens just about in any walk of life, any industry, anything you want to do. If you can engage with somebody just for even a few seconds by talking a little bit in a storyline mode, the results are generally far more than you ever expected. And I think you'll enjoy it more as well. So I'll have to practice what I preach and shut up because, you know, sometimes you can become long-winded. But I think with the size group that we have here, it looks like we got 21 people online. We were going to do some breakouts, Chad, I guess, but now we might not do that.
Yeah, I think we could probably handle it all in one room. I mean, it's if we find that we're starting to run over time, maybe we'll split up. I don't think we will. I think we have plenty of time. You were very timely. You kept to your time, which is great. And everyone remember, you know, this is a non-traditional networking session. What I mean by that is we're all alum. You know, we all want to help each other. This is a perfect place to practice those storytelling skills. You know, talking to Keith's group at the school, that's what they do. You know, they help you with, you know, with interviews and skills like that. Paul does that. These are all opportunities for us to go out and improve our skills because it does take practice. Like I said, Paul's helped me out. I've gone to, you know, public speaking coaches too who've helped me out with stories. And it's really something that can just make you more engaging. And it's not a natural skill. People say, oh, he's a natural storyteller. Through practice, you can sound natural too. I'm confident that everyone here can. Now, for the networking piece, well, I'd like everybody to introduce themselves. We'll do kind of a guided introduction because I don't want to leave anybody out there feeling uncomfortable. So since we are all alum, let's talk about, you know, when do we graduate? Where do we live? What are we doing now? And how do we think we could use storytelling? So just as an example, I'll go first. So I'm Chad Betts. I'm from the class of 1990. Wow, 1990, that's a long time ago. I work in the mortgage industry. So if you've ever paid a mortgage to one company this month and another company the next month, I play in that piece in between where I help companies trade mortgages. And for storytelling, I use it in presentations and in sales presentations, all kinds of areas. And it really is more engaging than laundry lists. So I'm a big fan of storytelling. So let me go around, and next on my screen, Clifford, do you have any thoughts? Why don't you introduce yourself and let us know what you think? Oh, you're still on mute. Not yet. There you go.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm double muted or whatnot, but I'm Clifford Esmeo. I graduated in the year 2019. With that class, I'm a proposal coordinator at Aetna within CVS. And I live in Middlebury, Connecticut. I commuted to Sacred Heart, about a 45-minute drive. And I think storytelling is so important because that basically is our day-to-day lives. We're always telling stories about ourselves, who we are, and just kind of, you know, day-to-day stuff, you know, telling people, oh yeah, I'm Cliff, this is my story. That's why it's so crucial that we kind of become good storytellers so that we can kind of tell the story of ourselves on a day-to-day basis and people can get to know us on a personal level because, like Paul said, you know, people don't want to always hear about the numbers. They want to hear about you as a person. So I think that's very important. And Paul did a great job presenting that.
Great. Thanks, Clifford. I appreciate your participation. CJ, how about you?
I'm CJ Cofrancesco. I just graduated class of 2020 with a master's. Currently just hired at Sacred Heart as a part-time employee, working at the Bobby Valentine Center in the bowling alley. I'm the manager of operations there. I'm also hoping through a final interview process tomorrow, a part-time employee of the town of East Haven as the youth bureau coordinator. So I'll be running all the youth programs and planning and executing them all in the town of East Haven. I mean, storytelling is just, like I said, it'll be good for making proposals for stuff. I think it's a great way to show why certain things need to be implemented. If you can tell a story, you can see the reason why behind, like, why things need to be done.
Cool, great, and good luck with your interview. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's always great to be near the end, but that's stressful too. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
CJ, if we mention your name, can we get a free game over there at the Alleys?
No, you just gotta sign up online.
Oh, all right. Okay. Looking for a deal now.
I'm going off the labels on the Zoom, so I'm going to ask one big boomer at Verizon.net to let me know who he is.
I was wondering when you were going to get to me. So listen, I got a million stories to tell you, maybe 2 million stories to tell you. But the bottom line of the stories that I can tell you are life experience stories, stories which will provide you with information about how to deal with certain things through your entire life experiences, not only with employment, but with family, with friends, with relatives, the whole kind of thing. And I would offer all of the participants at any given time to be in touch with me through Paul, through yourself, and say, ask me the question like, I've got this dilemma and whatever. And the only thing I can provide for you is the information of how I managed that particular situation at the time. Been experienced in a lot of human resources kinds of things. Paul and I go back a very long way. And there's another person in the audience, we go back a very long way. So we have a lot in common from that standpoint. But I would offer any of the participants and any of the alumni or any of the current students to get in touch with me if they have a dilemma that they're faced with, not sure where they should go with this or that. And I would tell you that the thing that I would provide is the information that I might have experienced with that for you to make up your own mind.
That's right. Can you give everybody your name too?
Charles
Charles
Rizzo.
Thanks, Charles. That's right. That's the power of stories. It's not just work. It's not just interview. It's not just sales. It's life. Be able to communicate in an impactful way just makes you more engaging, and you can have such an impact on people. It's an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much. Jorge, how about you? You're still on mute.
And where's your unmute sticker?
Yeah. There we go. How's it going? No, I still can't hear you. You're not muted. That's weird.
There we go. Sorry.
There we are. All right.
I got it going. Sorry.
No worries.
My name is Jorge Ballardo. I graduated from the class of '94. I'm currently a project manager for a pharmaceutical company. Been with them for close to 33 years. So in this environment, I'm just preparing myself in the event that I do need to go to an interview. And I think storytelling is important. And I think that it's beneficial also to relate with family and friends. So I appreciate the information that I'm getting.
That's great. It's something that we just integrate into our lives. It's not something like it's a have to do. It's not like some a skill where it has to be polished and perfect. As long as it's engaging and true to yourself. I mean, that's it's an amazing thing. So thank you, Jorge. Tracy Flynn, what's happening?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tracy, and I'm here tonight at the invitation of Chad. I am actually not a Sacred Heart graduate, but I have enjoyed learning more about the school from Todd and Dan and Keith. So it's a pleasure to be here. I do a lot of storytelling in my life. I've had a lot of fun experiences and I've had a lot of work experiences. I am located in the middle of Connecticut, and I have graduated from UConn and Fairfield University. I'm wearing red for Sacred Heart tonight. I have had so many interesting experiences, and as I'm sitting listening to Paul, who I've worked with in his company, I have learned, or it dawned on me, that when you're telling a story, you're also demonstrating all of the abilities, or many of the abilities that you may have bulleted on your resume. So you're really taking what you can do in the breadth of your experiences and make it entertaining, but at the same time, show versatility. I've worked in college athletics, and, I've had just, tremendous amount of experiences with students. A lot of what I've done is listening to coaches, observing quietly when I'm traveling with teams, and pick up on nuances that, hey, they didn't know they could do this. Or I need to speak to that athlete. I think I could give him or her some guidance. So I've enjoyed being here tonight. I'm in the middle of a pivot in my career from an NCAA rules compliance coordinator, director, to student success, helping students navigate from graduating high school through graduating college. And it's been a pleasure to be part of the Sacred Heart alumni community on this meeting or webinar this evening. And I look forward to hearing other people's thoughts and opinions as we progress through. Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Tracy. So, Keith and Todd, you got a trained storyteller right here. Maybe you could use her at the university.
I took some notes. Right.
Thanks, Chad.
Nice job.
Chris Conti, what's up?
Not so much. So, I'm Chris. I could definitely tell you a few good stories due to the fact that, well, one, I graduated in the pandemic and survived a whole year without going insane. So, that's a pretty good start. But that's where Netflix comes in. Without Netflix, that this year probably would have been a whole lot longer. But I actually just started a new job on Monday, this past Monday, after months of looking. So I'm basically working as a customer service rep for a company called Eastern Accounts up in Brookville. So basically making calls to different clients and collecting money for Spectrum, and I'm hoping to do that at least for a few weeks, by some time until some jobs pop up at Sacred Heart, which is what I've really been hoping to do since I graduated in May. But at least now I bought myself some time to get some income until that day does come.
Let's go. Congratulations on the new job. I know it's tough out there. And storytelling and having empathy when you're doing collections is very important. It's hard because people tell you different stories, not always the truth, and getting bitter about it can be easy. But if you remain empathetic and understanding, but firm, you'll do well. And it's funny how many people say that about Sacred Heart. When I went to tour the old GE facility, people were saying, "Wow, when I had to come here when I worked here, I was always nervous. Now I come in here and I'm happy." So it's funny. Sacred Heart has that effect on people. So it's an amazing thing. So thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Hey, Chris, congratulations on your job. Keep in mind that my guess is that this job or the next job, or maybe the after one after that, you're not going to retire from. So use these jobs as a learning opportunity and keep growing and get those under your belt, and you'll be ready for the next one.
Thanks. I mean, unless the next job I get allows me to, retire by 25, which I hope not. I don't know what I would do from 25 until the rest of my life. So, yeah. Hopefully,
you put your name on a building at Sacred Heart if you retire by 25.
Yeah.
No, if anyone's name is going on a building, it's going to be Anthony Smith after his fame with Josh Peck.
All right.
All right, so let's see who my screen just moved around. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Mark Petrino.
Oh, hi, Chad. Mark Petrino. This is my first meeting. Thanks for inviting me. I graduated from Sacred Heart in 2000. In 2000, after took a few years to get there, but I got there. And relating to the, I'm a commercial lender with a community bank here in Connecticut. Office out of my house right now in Easton. I'm probably about 2 miles from the campus, and so I think the thing with storytelling is, I think in a business where a lot of times services are like a commodity, when you can tell a story, it's how you're going to make a connection with somebody. It differentiates you from, it's the person behind the numbers when you're talking to people. It's how you make a connection with people, and you try to relate to people that through a story. And sometimes that's how you make that connection, and it becomes the reason why someone might want to do business with you versus someone who's not as interesting or not as engaging. So yeah, that's my take on it. I'd like to hear what you might think about it.
I think you're absolutely right. Again, people want to work with people they feel connected with. People want to do business with people that they feel are similar to them in many, many ways. So you make that connection, you develop the relationship. It might take 2 or 3 conversations to do that. That's why there are multiple interviews sometimes for the final candidates, because they want to make sure they're getting the right person. So use every one of those opportunities for a connection. And even if you're not selected to do the business with the company or to do the job with the company, you've made that connection, and you never know where it's going to come back again. Networking is the name of the game. A phrase we use in the career transition industry is the same all the time. Networking and not working are only 1 letter apart.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining, Mark. I appreciate that. I appreciate your participation. Sonya, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Good evening. My name is Sonya Jolly. I graduated from Sacred Heart in 2003, and I commuted, and I played Division I tennis for them all 4 years. I'm currently taking a Google Data Analytics course through Coursera. I should be able to acquire skills in R programming, SQL, Tableau, as well as Microsoft Power BI. I was previously working as an analyst for a consumer insights trade marketing company, and I have some experience working with wholesale clubs, supermarket chains, pharmacy chains, and retail outlets such as Target and Walmart. And I have experience working with software such as Nielsen, IRI, MarketTrax, and SPSS. My goal is to land a job working as either a data analyst, marketing analyst, or market research analyst for consumer packaged goods. But I'm also interested in the pharmacy industry as well. I used to temp over at Boehringer Ingelheim.
That's cool. So I would recommend that you reach out to Paul on the side, reach out to Keith on the side and get feedback from them. Jorge, I don't know if being in the pharmaceutical industry, if you have any ideas that you could share, maybe you guys can share LinkedIn in the chat and maybe ask questions. I mean, that's, as alumni, helping each other out with this it's important. We're all in this together, and we can all grow together if we just all help each other. So
also, I had a Zoom call for an associate data analyst position, but I was myself, I think. Maybe I could have done better. I wanted feedback, but I didn't receive any feedback to help me in my next interviews. So that would have helped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so get with chat with Paul and chat with Keith, and or whoever. I'm not sure who. I think Keith had to drop, but somebody in his office will help you practice those interview skills. And like I said, Paul's very good at that as well. So yeah, definitely reach out, because these are skills. It's not nothing. None of this comes naturally. and practice, really helps. And you get that feedback. So you know that, well, if you say this a little bit differently, you put everything in a whole different light. So yeah, you're on the right track. Reach out to these resources. They're here for you. And you'll get the skills you need, because you're investing in yourself. So make sure people know it. That's all these courses you're taking. I know a lot of programmers who kind of sit on their laurels, but you're out there learning new things. That's fantastic. That's
I know I want to be able to know it. Like there's sometimes I feel like I don't know it like I should. And I'm learning Python, which I'm surprised I don't have in my Google data analytics through Coursera, the program that would have helped. I'm doing Python separately. It's pretty it's not as bad as I think it is. Plus I'm getting some help from other people who know it, like who do it on a daily basis.
And one of the things we might want to mention to the group chat is that behavioral questioning is becoming more and more popular in interview sessions. So questions will be based around not necessarily what programs you have and what technical knowledge you have, but the question will be phrased something like, tell me a time where you had to deal with a difficult something or other. Let me know how you would handle a situation where, in fact, you did not see eye to eye with your boss or fellow workers. That's where storytelling comes in. It's not necessarily about the technical skills that you have or any of the other technical background you have. It's dealing with the human nature and the issues that come up in a day in and day out business setting. So try to focus more on the behavioral side of things rather than the analytical, statistical, numerical type of things.
Keep one thing in mind. I think it's important that when you're interviewing, the person that's interviewing you has gone through the same kinds of experiences that you are going through. You're not the first person that's done this, and they're not the first person that's done this. And I think they probably will tune into those kinds of things. So providing them with information and behave, as Paul suggested, behavioral kinds of things that they can relate to is very, very important to at least progressing to the next level, if not progressing to the next level, to at least getting the experience for your next interview.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the power of networking, just chatting like this and getting ideas and learning. This is the power of it. The one thing I could suggest, and I fail to tell you guys that I go back to the class of 1967. In the first graduating class of Sacred Heart University. And that doesn't mean anything other than the fact that I've been involved with Sacred Heart University for a long period of time. However, the people that are interviewing you are people. They're not anything other than people, and the kinds of people that you met in other social kinds of experiences. And if you keep that in mind and ground yourself to the point where you are who you are and you're in command of who you are and you know who you are, people will see that. Interviewers will see that, and they'll see the confidence that you have in yourself. And then from that behavioral standpoint, we'll recognize that this could be a person who could get along very well with our other employees. Right. So and it's a great opportunity, to reach out offline and connect with people to find out, get the feedback like Charles has.
Yeah.
A perfect opportunity for using humor. Just a perfect opportunity. What are your thoughts? Just want to say, perfect opportunity to use humor in a present. We're getting a little feedback here. A perfect opportunity with what Chuck just mentioned, that he says, I'm a graduate of 1967. Now, if you leave that there, somebody might say, well, I'll do the math real quick, and why would we hire you? But if you said 1967 was the year I graduated, we just got electricity on campus that year. Something along those lines, which kind of moves it beyond the date and moves it on to let's keep going here, So, when you can use some humor to your advantage. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now we go to where, when I graduated, we just got artificial intelligence. So, Jason, how about let you go next? Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
What's going on? I'm Jason Torrey. I was transferred to Sacred Heart after a couple of schools, so I had to keep going to get the college degree. So I was graduated in 2015, and I kind of wanted to tell a quick story, listening to stories about two important themes and words that come to my mind that have helped, that have got me through life. And it really applies to my experience at Sacred Heart. And that is passion and perseverance. Before I went to Sacred Heart, I went and played football at Endicott and then played lacrosse in Arizona for a semester each, and they just weren't for me. I came back home and reached out to a few friends, and one ended up being a professional hockey player, and I ended up becoming a personal trainer, working out with them, and really had a great passion for it. So I went to Sacred Heart. I thought it'd be an exercise science major. Speaking of humor, the first test, the biology exam on the first class, I got a D+, and I just knew that that major wasn't for me. So I started exploring new options and new classes, and I came across media culture, got an A, got another A in communications, and realized what my skills were. Now I was persistent, continued taking those, but I had a passion for fitness and health and wellness. I got out of college, went to New York City, and became a real estate agent, which is one of the most rigorous jobs you possibly could do in sales, especially in that environment. And to this day, I still have my license, but as the pandemic was approaching, I actually decided to leave New York and come down to Florida. And I said, once the pandemic hit, I said it would be great to get back into the fitness world. So while I was in New York, I created a brand, the Tory Story, and that was off of Instagram, got some traction on branding, marketing, used all my skills I learned at Sacred Heart. And now, after lots of perseverance, I learned that my great passion is fitness, health, and wellness. And I saw an opportunity as being an online personal trainer where you can really do well. And this past week, I actually got hired by a fitness company online to do their peer workouts and live stream for some of the products they've launched. One's called the PowerDell. And the reason I say this is to relate to everyone. During the pandemic, this very creative entrepreneur decided that it'd be nice to create a product that everyone could use it in their in-home fitness life and solve a lot of problems like not traveling to the gym. It's not heavy. Long story short. And now I'm very excited because I'm pursuing my dreams and becoming an online personal trainer where there's a great business opportunity. It's a brand new industry, and I'm happy to take it to the next level. So persistence and passion is what I learned. And through Sacred Heart, it got me there. So can't thank you enough about the education there, and we'll see where it goes.
That's a fantastic story. Yeah, it really shows life is a marathon, not a sprint. So
yeah. I hope I run on too fast, but I want to get to the point. But that's a story, and that was the point.
That was good. No, that was good stuff. No, that's great.
Chad, if I could jump in for Jason, I noticed you're with you say being down in Florida, we have an alum by the name of Gio Rizzelli, and WWE former wrestler, but has made his life in fitness, health, and wellness field, and loves, has recently reached out and is doing a lot of mentoring of existing Sacred Heart students. So
how one question I have is, how do we capitalize on, finding someone like that and reaching out and then continuing with, me telling the story with you guys and knowing and staying in touch?
Well, listen, I think in short tonight, right? Reach out to me separately. Send me a message. You have my contact information. I dropped it in the, in the chat. I'll connect you with Gio directly.
Okay, great.
And you guys are down in the same area, so I know he'd be thrilled to help a fellow pioneer. As you get your career started.
Yes. Yeah, so the thing with this company is that it's a father-son who's a physical therapist and used to be an Equinox trainer, decided to really grow a fitness business to a multi-million-dollar business. And this father is a chiropractor, and they've taught me this great book, Who, Not How. And they hired me because of who I am and not how we can get it done, because I have a kind of a Rolodex and I'm happy to help them. So, stuff like that is going to be a great value add down the road. Cool. In this journey I have going on.
Great.
Hey,
well,
Jason, just talking about value add. If you remember back, the first C that I talked about was compact. The second was concise. Your story was very interesting, but it was not compact and concise. It droned on, and it was one that was interesting to listen to. But after I had heard it, The idea is getting to the point where you say, and this is what happened at that point. I don't need a lot of the information, but you want to make me as the listener get to the point where it's really the most climatic, most important point, and then give me the chance to say, well, tell me more about that, how you did that. Too much information in the beginning. Get to the point, and then let them take the role and let them ask you more information after that.
Got it. Appreciate the advice.
Great feedback.
Good success on that.
So, Ann, what are your thoughts? No, you're still muted.
Okay. Did you
There
say
you go.
There you
hello?
go.
Hi, how are you?
Am I good?
You are. You hear you loud. and clear.
Fine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good to see everybody tonight. Great. Great. My name is Ann Lesko. I am a 93 MBA graduate. I live in Westport, Connecticut. I consider myself a marketer, but right now I am working as a sales merchandiser for Hanes Brands. It is a part-time position. I'm looking forward to getting back to my roots in marketing. So the reason why I'm on the call is because I just am starting the process of reintroducing myself back into the marketing world.
Good deal. You came to the right place. It's a lot of people here who
Yes.
help out, and it's great practice to go and network with people who you have something in common with, and you can feel a little bit more comfortable than in a traditional networking environment. So thank you very much, Ann.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Richard Porter, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
Doing okay. I'm just listening in, trying to pick up a few tips.
Yeah. So why don't you give a quick introduction of who you are, when you graduated, all that kind of happy stuff.
Richard Porter, graduated 04, comp sci masters. Right now working for American Express, responsible for strategy for the global consumer division based in New York. We've got lots of roles open. We've got marketing roles open. Yeah, known Chad for a number of years and just happy to be here. So
Great. Thanks a lot for coming. Appreciate it. So let's see. Matthew Miller, I see your name. I don't see your picture, so I'm not sure if you're there.
Hey, I'm here.
All right. How you doing?
Not working well today, but I graduated from Sacred Heart in 2010. Graduated with an accounting degree. I'm actually working as an accountant within the housing field, and I'm currently looking to expand my network and try and help other alumni out. I find that storytelling really helps us connect with others, which it kind of just allows us to connect on a deeper level than just the like surface numerical stuff, all that type of information. And I'm actually kind of on a side note, just have a couple questions. Like, I'm not exactly sure how to necessarily provide value to people. What I've heard is you kind of send interesting articles. So like in order to initiate a network connection, you kind of want to get them on the phone. And then to kind of keep them interested, you want to keep sending them interesting articles. But it just feels weird to do that every month or so. I guess I just have to get past that. But I don't know if that's how you keep in touch with people or.
Well, that's certainly one way to do it. There are a number of ways. One of the best ways we have found is to become more aware of the programs that are available to you in your local communities through the Chamber of Commerce, professional associations, other groups as well, because they all have opportunities for people to get together for, online coffee get-togethers or general conversations or meet the chamber and those type of things. So pretty much no matter what metropolitan area you live in, there are networks that are available. Just go up online, Google them. Networks in my area, give a zip code or whatever the case may be. And you'll find people that are willing to bring you into the groups. Church groups have them. A whole variety of organizations have them as well. They're out there. They might not always be as publicized. State of Connecticut has a listing of network groups on the Department of Labor, where network groups register with the Department of Labor, and then they're published out there as well. So there are plenty to go to. I think many times the following up with business information or information that will be helpful for business is better after you've gotten to know the person a little bit, because otherwise trying too hard sometimes could be a problem as well. And people say, what is this person sending me? I don't even know who it is. You know, I met him once and, you know, but, you know, kind of develop a relationship and then keep it growing and then add to it as time goes by. Don't overkill right from the very beginning.
For example, I have one connection who like is a sports enthusiast. So every quarter or so, I send him an interesting article and he actually responds back to me. So the partner of a CPA firm is certainly someone I like to keep in touch with.
Absolutely. Good move. Yeah, sure enough.
Okay. So that's how you typically do it though. You would send an interesting article every couple months.
Yeah. Something that, yeah, based on the conversation.
It's hard to find value I can provide to people.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to say, hey, could we have a 15-minute call? I just want to get a chance to network a little bit more and get some thoughts. Yeah, in the cases, you never ask for business or you never ask for a job. You ask for advice.
Yeah, that's the key.
Thanks, Matthew. It sounds like you're on the right track. You know, just networking, and it's not perfect science. Some things work with some people, some don't work with others, but just keep plugging. And that's
it's tough too, because in order to get the people to respond, it's like they're so busy that I've been referred to people and then I send them articles every couple months without a response. It's like, do I just keep doing it anyways?
I would suggest not. You know, ghosting, it does happen, but you know, if somebody's not responding, they're trying to send you a message as well. You know, if you send them a message or two and they get back to you, keep it going. But if they don't, move on to somebody else that's willing to do that.
That's what I figured.
Yep. We don't want people to be stalkers out here.
That's my job. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Matthew. That's great.
Thanks,
Joe, do you have any thoughts?
Who is that, Chad?
Joe. Joe Kulis.
Oh, Joe, I thought you said Joe. Oh, hello, Chad. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Yeah, Joe Kulis with the Shed Group. I've been doing HR consulting with Paul and the Shed Group for about the last 8 years or so. I finished at Sacred Heart when they were $90 a credit, and that's back in '76. I like to say that when I was there, it was Dr. Brodeur, Christine Taylor, not sure if she's still there, and Ed Mallon, Dr. Mallon, hell of a nice guy. Sorry to have seen him pass a few years ago, but we take credit for getting Sacred Heart recognized nationally for the first Psi Chi National Honor Society. Anyway, very, very nice meeting tonight. Always good listening to Paul, and met Chad a few years ago when he spoke for us at a SHEG meeting that we had with a variety of our clients. But school has certainly come a long way, no doubt about it. You know, maybe I'll even learn how to skate just so I could use the skating rink.
Great, thanks, Joe. Yes,
Sure. Thank you.
I went to school back when there was places to park, so that's that was a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
hey, I meant to ask Mr. Rizzo if he was probably there when it was Notre Dame Boys High School, and then just stayed there and became Sacred Heart. Not many folks realize that, but some of us do. Anyway.
Looks like Alice stepped away, so we'll table her comments for a second. Before we turn it back to Todd, let's see, Natalie, you want to introduce yourself? Tell people what you do and how you can help and all that.
Sure. So I'm Natalie. I work in the Office for Alumni Engagement with Todd, Julia, and Alexa. However, I am also an alum. I graduated in 2015, and then I got my master's in 2016. I'm glad to see so many new faces on this call. And as far as storytelling goes, you know, I think everybody kind of hit on it already. You know, we use it all in our daily lives, and in my job in the alumni office, storytelling is important for engaging with all of you. So, so thank you for joining us. And hopefully Alice comes back so she can tune in too and tell her little story.
Well, Nat, it's a good moment, even for you while you're kind of on the spotlight, to be able to even just talk about this incredible shadow program that you worked with Keith's office to deliver, to develop, and give that, help all of our guests on tonight's call learn a little bit more about that.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So a couple years ago, we had started a job shadow program. It was a partnership between our office and the Center for Career and Professional Development. It's a mouthful, bear with me. And it is really just, it's a one-day great experience for students to connect with alumni in fields of interest for them. So if somebody wants to be an accountant, we match them with an alum accountant. Dan has been a great member of that program for the last couple of years, so thank you, Dan. We've pivoted this year with the pandemic, and we made it a fully virtual program, which actually really helped enhance the program. Keith's team was great in helping to get the students. We matched students to alumni from all over the country. We even had international alumni participate this year. We made matches in Canada and all the way out in Australia. So it's a really great program for alumni to give back time, whether it's an hour or a couple hours in a day, to really talk to our students about their transition from student to career, about their career itself, and sort of guide them in what they're looking to do. We get students of all years. We do find a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and then we do get a lot of seniors as well who are sort of in panic mode in their last year, not knowing what they want to do. But I really enjoy it. I love being a part of it, and I love to see all the great connections. The alumni and students alike both get so much out of the program, and we have a lot of repeat customers each year. So it's really awesome. And if anybody is interested in learning more about the program or wanting to be a part of it next year, please feel free to reach out to me. I will drop my contact information in the chat as well.
That's great. Yeah, please reach out to Natalie. She's very helpful. She's very knowledgeable, and it's a fantastic program. Both you and the students will benefit from it. So I highly recommend it. Actually, before we get to Alice for her part, we do have one question in the chat. So Paul, we have a question. Sometimes I feel as if I'm doing all the right things by networking. Other times I feel I do not. What should or could I do better?
Well, let's see.
I'm part of a lot of job networking groups. I've met and connected with people and have conversations. I have a lot of target companies I'm interested in working for.
Yeah. I get it. You know, we hear the same question probably 3 to 4 times a week. I'm doing all that I possibly can. What more can I do? Well, sometimes you just have to keep doing it because there's a lot of no's and then there's finally a yes. But you won't get to that yes unless you keep going, go for it. So as tiring as it can be and as awkward as it might be from time to time, you still have to be out there. You have to meet new people. And then when you think you've met all the people you can meet, find some more people to meet, because you never know who's going to have that next connection. It might be a friend, it might be a neighbor, it might be somebody you meet in the, who knows where. We tell a story about, we had a person who was looking for probably the better part of a year. And she was in Stamford, Connecticut, and she was just about to cross the street when she looked up, and the person coming across the street was a woman she had worked with years ago. So they stopped and they talked, fortunately not in the middle of the crosswalk. And she found out that she was looking for a job. Long story short, about 4 weeks later, she began her new job at Yale University because of the contacts that this woman had just by passing and meeting her again in the crosswalk in Stamford. So you just never know when that person's going to come back into your life and opportunity is going to happen.
There's someone who lives up the street from me, and he works at one of my target companies, BIC, and I'm connected with, I finally met him in person. I told him that it's one of my target companies. He told me to forward him some of the positions I'm interested in working.
There you go. Yeah.
So I did. I haven't heard from him though yet.
Well, be patient. You never can tell. They're busy too, and who knows what's going on with COVID. But again, there's a hidden job market out there that you'll never find out about unless you network with people, because they know where the jobs are. They just have heard about something, or they might work for the company that's looking for somebody, but they're doing it in a quiet search way. So keep yourself out there. Just be ready to go and be ready to present yourself. Have your elevator speech ready. Have a resume ready. Make sure your LinkedIn page is tidy and it matches your resume, and you're in probably about as good a shape as you can be.
We have a couple minutes left. Alice, you want to introduce yourself? Tell us when you graduated and all that happy stuff. We see the top of your head. You're not that short. Come on. No, you're still on mute. Yep, still there. No, not yet.
Leave it to Alice.
So that's about, I saw a note pop up. What about the unmute? Just link in with me and ask me for it, and I'll email you a copy and you print it.
Fantastic.
So, all right. Well, Todd, why don't you give a few words, and if Alice can fix hers, then she could come on. But what, we have a couple minutes left. Any closing comments?
Yeah, I just this has been a great opportunity to kind of bring people together and meet a bunch of new folks and hear a little bit about, goals and aspirations. And I just really encourage people to, begin to, leverage, this group of people and use that as a basis point to begin to grow productive and friendly alumni relationships. Certainly we see through the office and some of the networking that we help facilitate, people that are able to pursue, career opportunities or professional growth opportunities based on staying connected to the university. We've made plenty of plugs for resources available, and I'll kind of conclude with a final plug. You will see, all of our alums will see in the month of April, we're going to introduce an engagement concept called the 1963 Challenge. And it's a combination of virtual events, some fun engagement, there's some philanthropy involved, but it's really going to be something that it's going to be an anchor event for the university every year, built around ways that alumni can kind of give back and stay connected. So I know in the queue we have several, we have dozens of different initiatives. I'm sure that one or multiple will appeal to anyone on this call. So we encourage people to participate. So look for 1963 Challenge in the weeks ahead. I guess my closing comment on all this is a thanks to you, Chad. Pre-pandemic, Chad had come to me on a number of occasions looking to kind of revisit a Pioneer Connect program that he had built some years ago, and it kind of faded off, through some like transitions of staff in the office. And we decided to kind of bring it back in the midst of this pandemic. And, I'm thrilled that, between the event tonight and the previous one that we had in November, we've had over 70 different alums that have reconnected with Sacred Heart and each other. So we look forward to doing these every 2 months. I'd encourage everyone on the call to rejoin us in 2 months and maybe invite, a friend or a fellow alum to be with us. So thanks, everyone. Hope everyone has everyone that celebrates the upcoming Easter holiday has a wonderful one. We encourage people to, if they're in the area, always to be back on campus, and certainly to find us at a regional chapter, as we begin to get back together in person.
And don't forget Passover. Passover is this weekend.
Entirely right, Chris.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is this weekend.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And networking doesn't end at the end of this meeting. Reach out to each other. I've already gotten a few LinkedIn connections. Thank you very much for connecting. I appreciate it. And talk to each other. Talk to me. Talk to Paul. That's what we're here for. I mean, we grow together. So let's continue networking with each other, help each other out, and help the school grow. So thank you all for joining. And I look forward to seeing everyone next time around.